Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Anime Tea Talk. Today is a very special video for me. I want to talk about why Hunter x Hunter is GOATED, why it's one of the greatest, undisputed. You already know it's up there in my anime list. Everyone talks about it, but it's not just because everyone says it is. It really is. And I'm here to explain why. So, grab a cup of tea, maybe some wine, maybe some juice, some OJ, depending what time, where you're at in the world watching this. Just the point is just relax. Let's talk about some great anime, right? So, Hunter x Hunter. Why is it the best? Well, my opinion, let's talk about the shonen genre as a whole, right? As it's you can't talk about Hunter x Hunter without talking about shonen and what they're about. Shonen, it's the classic hero's journey, where forget about that textbook definition about it's aimed for kids, because while that does have a part to play, it's to me it's always about a protagonist with potential, lots of potential, and he starts off, he's nothing, and he embarks on a journey to reach his potential. His or her. There aren't many. Are there any shonen with female protagonists? Not that I know of. There are. Let me know down below. But Hunter x Hunter, it perfectly nails the appeal to me. I love a good show about a character with lots of potential and him embarking on that journey of realizing that potential. Yeah? I would say, not only do we get one, we get two characters, Gon and Killua, who they have so much potential, and there's the perfect amount of struggle to encapsulate their potential. That's what you need too in a shonen with a character with lots of potential. All the good ones have that, right? Just thinking of, let's talk about the hottest show on the block right now. And I know this is about Hunter x Hunter, but how can I not mention Jujutsu Kaisen? I'm talking about how great Hunter x Hunter is, but obviously, guys, I'm a fan, so even though being a fanboy of Jujutsu Kaisen, I still gotta put respect on Hunter x Hunter. It's better. Come on, it's better. But anyways, Itadori, he's got insane potential, right? Insane. His physical feats alone put him up there. And Gojo saying like, wow, him and two other students, they can be some of the best students in generations, right? This is the kind of stuff that builds hype, builds excitement. Why do we love that? That's a good question to ask. Why do you love that? And I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, it's about seeing myself in that. Especially this is where it comes to a young audience. As a kid, you have all that potential. You may not have that kind of potential. Don't take it so one to one. You get what I mean, though. You can do anything with your life. You can learn anything. And if you dedicate yourself, you can go farther than you've ever thought, right? But there's also a struggle to having potential. I think back to the struggle that the gifted kids have. I don't know if you've heard about this, but kids that get placed in the gifted program, they're known for struggling when they get out of high school, when they get into college, into the real world, and for just not fulfilling their potential. And not even just not fulfilling the potential, kind of just being mediocre, average at best, far below what they could have done. You see a similar thing with child prodigies, right? With anything. You look at the piano, soccer, basketball, so many different things. When you're so good and so naturally gifted from a young age, and everyone is telling you how great you are, it causes issues. There are problems with that. You have a lack of drive. You're used to coasting and winning by coasting, while everyone else is used to working their butt off so they can beat you. And before you know it, everyone's flying you by, right? So a good shonen has to have that mix between both. And Hunter x Hunter does that great in some of the later parts. And it also talks about something cool is the how scary their potential is. I think back to their teacher. Gon and Killua had a teacher who taught them how to use unlock their abilities, their power, their nen, and how scary it is for a child to have access to so much power. It's just not right. Yeah. So that's one part. I just think having two characters that have insane potential and seeing them fulfill that potential, Hunter x Hunter they already get that baseline. So we're good on that. Let's talk about the next thing. Let's take a sip of tea. Let's chill out a little bit. I'm getting a little too amped up here. It's anime tea talk, okay? Let me look at my notes here. So, I can't talk about Hunter x Hunter without talking about the chess-like battle sequences. Now, not only it's, I don't mean to throw shade, but Naruto Shippuden is an example of where an anime fell short of this, where they have all these little tactics that they can use. They're ninjas, they plan. But if it really just plays out the same, in my opinion, most of the time. The shurikens are absolutely useless. They show shurikens, the other person dodges it, and then Naruto does the same few ninjutsu moves. If I get the name, if I screw things up, I don't care. Okay, that's not the point. If the point is, some fights are awesome, but it's never about the strategy. What Naruto nails is the emotion of the fight. If you haven't watched Super Eye Patch's Wolf's video about anime battles and what makes a good fight scene, you should check it out. It's not about the fight choreography, although that's awesome. It's about the emotions being conveyed through that fight, and that's what gets us so sucked in. That's what gets us thinking, wow, like that was the best fight ever, right? But let's get back on track here. Nen might just be the greatest power system of all time. You might have ones you prefer. I think it's a good mix between, this is in writing circles, and especially in the fantasy community, a hard magic system and a soft magic system. I think Nen is a good mix between the two. It's a hard magic system in the sense that there are these rules, there's a structure to it, but there's also soft in that it's pretty limitless. What I love about it is that the personality aspect. So there are the different types of Nen you can get placed in. I can't remember all of them right now. I'm sorry, guys. I should have researched more, but off the top of my head, I remember there was the Enhancer. There was the Conjurer, which I believe Killua was. There was also the Puppeteer one. I know that's not what it's called, but maybe that's also a Conjurer. But and then there was a Specialist. Many people weren't Specialists, but Killua was. Not Killua. The one with the yellow hair. Kurapika. Kurapika was a Specialist, right? And depending on your personality type, that's where you would get placed. And from there, it wasn't just that, okay, now you get placed and you're limited. No, now your creativity comes into play. It's about what you think of and what you spend your time developing. And depending on your talent level, that, I'm a little lost here. Okay. Yeah, depending on your talent level, that will show no matter how hard you work, on a creative thing, it might not come to much. Talent plays a part too. Anyways, that's not important. Then, right? These chests, when you get the Nen, and you get into the battle, and then we all remember the Heaven's Arena arc where there's the rules to Nen explained, and how Hisoka talks about, the properties of bungee gum. Right, that's a big meme in the community, but that scene is extremely important because it shows a level of tactics that can be involved in this, and that adds so much stakes to the fights. You know, they're both so epic, so flashy. If you don't care about the strategy, you can still absolutely love it, I believe. But the strategy adds an element, and you know what why that's so important is because it brings engagement to the community. Something I've discovered over the past few years is that every anime fan base has the power scalers, right? I think this, I'm not sure where this developed, but there's entire ecosystems on YouTube developed to this. Who's gonna win between this character and this character? Is it gonna be a low diff, mid diff, high diff, extreme high diff? You know? And if you don't know what that means, like diff means difficulty, like okay, if it's a low diff fight, that means you're just gonna easily beat them, right? And it brings in that kind of like MMA for anime weebs, right? Where in MMA it's a similar. There's all these different styles you can do, and how good you are at those styles, and how those styles counteract with each other, and also just the intangibles of somebody. Like some things in a fight don't show up on paper. There's a sense, you know. You can call it plot armor. It's not plot armor. It's real. With that fighting instinct you have, where you can just tell that hook's coming, right? Not everybody's got that. And Hunter x Hunter creates this, and even though the show forever, you know, the anime's ended, the manga never creates chapters, there's still tons and tons of fan engagement, and that just shows how great of a power system was created, and how fun it is to just anticipate these fights, and it really just keeps you in the moment. I would say that's that one thing where Hunter x Hunter really separated itself from the pack. I want to talk about what set the tone for this, for the strategy of Hunter x Hunter and how it's different from other battle anime, is the rock paper scissors scene. You guys remember what I'm talking about from the Hunter exam, where Rio ends up choosing the rock paper scissors because he's scared to fight. He gets tricked into it, right? And all of the tactics and mind games that were involved, the stakes around it was just so well done, and it set the scene for what kind of anime Hunter x Hunter was going to be. I can't mention that arc without mentioning Killua versus the mass murderer guy. Everyone remembers that's watched the show the moment that happened. The moment they fought, like up until then, Killua was just this nice little guy. You know, I'm just gonna talk about Killua for a bit. I love Killua. Killua's awesome, right? He gets into his head. He's like, okay, this friendly guy who's just riding a skateboard. He's the guy who just does not care, barely trying, just coasting through. And you know, when you're young, that's super cool. Even older, there's always a charm, an appeal to those guys, and just how great of a friend he was to Gon. He just seemed like he knew what he's doing a little bit more. We never saw him in action. We saw he had pretty amazing stamina, just like Gon in the little endurance training test, right? When we saw that scene and how dark it was, like, okay, Killua might have this facade of just being carefree young little kid, but there's something more to him. And at that moment, you knew, okay, this may be a kid's show, but it's edgy, it's heavy, and wow. Just take a moment to appreciate that scene. It really, gotta say it again, it set the tone for what kind of show Hunter x Hunter was gonna be, and it's a great example of why the show hits so well. There are many moments throughout this anime like that, where, you know, Hunter x Hunter can go from being really fun, carefree, just like, okay, we're an adventure, to being like, oh man, that is messed up. Let's see. And something else I didn't notice is I like what's great about Nen. Why why it's better. Better not be might not be the right word. What separates it from other power systems is that similar to Ichiro Oda in One Piece, the author was smart with this. The author created a battle system that allows him to get playful with it. He's not constricted by the power system. So that's the advantage of a soft magic system, is that you're open to being creative. Think Harry Potter, which that's not a great magic system, but I can't think of one at the moment. But there's like usually it's in worlds with natural magic and there's a mystique around it. So with Nen, there isn't really a mystique around it, but the author can just get really playful, and the author just of Hunter x Hunter, I think his name is Togashi. You can correct me on that. He crafts it so well. So even though he gets really creative and playful with it, it never feels unbelievable. Not to me, not once. Not once did it suspend my suspension of disbelief. It never took me out of the moment. That is another thing. And I've been talking a lot here, losing track. So I'm just gonna bring us back home. Talked about the fights and Hunter x Hunter. Talked about the potential of the characters and seeing Gon and Killua and their friendship and just going through life together and just being a hunter. It's great, but what's really great, I want you to think of the opening theme song. Just go give it a listen right now. That feeling it gives you of adventure. Hunter x Hunter, it's actually an adventure anime. I don't see many shonen actually be much of an adventure anymore. After Dragon Ball Z, which stepped away from OG Dragon Ball, which was an adventure, most anime that were shonen battle anime lost that element to it. But Hunter x Hunter retains it. You actually get a sense of the world, and even though it doesn't feel linear, it feels like just a grand adventure of where they're going. And just that opening theme song, I'm gonna go listen to it after this video. The show, what it sells you on, it captures that. It captures that feeling. So amongst all of the fights, the story, the characters, it's just a really nice adventure. And that's why Hunter x Hunter is GOATED. It does so many things so well. It's shonen perfection, in my opinion, and that's why even to this day it's so, even with so, it's kind of ironic talking about all this potential, but yet Hunter x Hunter has so much missed potential because it's never going to finish. We're never going to see how strong Gon and Killua will get. Never going to see them even just become 17, 18, get a little character update. I'd love to see that. We're not going to see it. We're never going to see Gon after his recovery, right? We're never going to see what Killua looks like now when he's past his traumas. We're never going to see the entirety of the Dark Continent arc, are we? If you believe so, I wish I had the belief, but with the author's health problems, it's not realistic. But yet, with all this missed potential, it's still so special, and I don't think the anime community is ever going to forget that. Thank you for listening, guys. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. If you want to listen to me more ramble about anime and self-improvement and other topics, give me a subscribe. I really appreciate the support. I really love doing this, and I look forward to making more. Love you guys. Never stop loving what you love. Peace out.